This involves no explosive diarrhea, no blood, no bodily functions of any sort. So, I hope you're ready for this kind of a story. It happened at the gateway to the Rocky Mountains in the Wind River Range in Pinedale, Wyoming, where I lived back in 1981. I was a 21-year-old, and my job was being basically the manager of a service station. And I would keep all the books, and I would keep everybody in line, and I would change tires and all kinds of things. And every morning in this little town, every morning I would check the gas tanks that are under the ground, and I would have a dipstick that was like 7 feet tall, and I would pry up the little round thing that, you know, the entrance to the tank, and then I would dip the stick in, take it out, and check the reading on the stick, and then I would consult a typewritten chart and see how many gallons we had left. And these tanks held about 10,000 gallons of gas. We had premium gas, we had regular gas, and we had diesel. The diesel, of course, doesn't get sold as fast as the other kinds of gasoline. So when we were low on gas, I would call down to Rock Springs, which was 100 miles in one direction, and Jackson Hole, by the way, was about 85 miles in another direction, and we were in this little tiny town. It's like 2 square miles and less than 1,000 people in population. So it was finally time to order some diesel fuel. And I called down to Rock Springs, and they sent up a tanker truck, and the tanker truck comes up, and they park next to the big sheet glass windows in our service station, and the tanker truck driver hops out, and he, you know, gets everything hooked up, and he pries open the opening, and he starts the diesel gas, or the diesel fuel going into the underground tank, and everything's fine. Everything's fine. And then he comes inside, and we have like an old coffee maker and a candy bar machine and a bench to sit on, you know, and we're hanging out there in our little town, and we're just talking, and every couple minutes the guy goes out and he checks and makes sure everything's fine. So he comes back in, and some of the guys who are working in the bays come in, and we're just talking, you know, talking about how cool Corvettes are, and, you know, were you at the cattle drive last week, and blah, 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 that kind of stuff, you know, what's going on with the rodeo and all that. So we're talking and talking, and then the guy goes, oh, I better go out and check. So he goes out, and then he goes around his truck, and then we see him coming back in. He's running in, and he's like, you guys, oh my God, come out here, oh my God. So I go running out, and I'm in charge, and I see that the tank is just gushing fuel down the hill of the driveway. It's not just a rivulet, it's like a delta. It's just spreading out, and it's everywhere, and it's going down this hill. And some of it is going into the gutter, and some of it is not going into the gutter. It's going next door behind the auto parts place, where they have cardboard boxes and trash, and it's like soaking up in there. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I run back in, and I say, you guys, we have to get the kitty litter, which we had to soak up oil. I'm like, get the kitty litter and all the old tires. So they get the kitty litter and the old tires, and they're like making these dams and things. And I'm using the dial rotary phone and calling our little town's city hall, like, we have a fuel spill, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do, you know? So they send out some trucks, And they also have some kind of like kitty litter-ish type stuff, and they're sprinkling it around, and this all happens pretty quickly. It's like within 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, because I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? Oh my gosh, because I'm the one who dipped the tank and it overflowed, and this is not good, and I'm in charge. And the guy who owns the auto parts store next door, he comes running over, he comes running in the door, he's so mad. So it turned out I got called into the big oil man's office the next day, and all night I couldn't sleep. So I go in there, and there he is, Mr. Montanez. And he's got his feet up on the desk, and he's got his pointy cowboy boots and his black hat, cowboy hat. And his son, Kenneth, is standing by his side like his little minion, looking at me. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm in such trouble. And it turned out, Mr. Montanez says, Joanie, this is a very serious situation. We lost many, 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 many hundreds of gallons of fuel. If somebody had lit that on fire, it would have been an explosion, and it's very bad. I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry. And then he says, I need to see the chart that you used. So I hand him the chart. He looks at it. He goes, So this is the chart. This is the chart I used. He goes, Joanie, you did not do anything wrong. Kenneth, it's all your fault. You gave her the wrong chart. Thank you.